What's up, everyone? This is Tyler from Seven Figure Entrepreneur. With me, I have Gabriel Ansel.
What's going on, team? We're back. We got another one. This is episode 21, and it's going to be a good one.
Absolutely. I'm glad you knew the number because I had no idea.
I got the inside scoop on 7Fig. I'm deep in it every day. So,
Well, I'm actually really pumped about this episode. I don't know if you guys ever saw that movie. What was it, like Waterbender or something, where that kid can like manipulate like the elements of the earth?
what?
Did you ever see that? Or Airbender or something like that? Anyways, with us today, we have Chad Hamzeh, who is the traffic bender. This guy is a beast. When did we meet, Chad? A couple years ago?
Yeah, that intro was pretty hilarious. When you were quoting the Airbender, I don't know about that, but
Did you ever see that movie?
yeah, I've seen parts of it. Yeah, yeah. I wish I had those. I don't have those powers, but
yeah, right.
it was I think it was like 4 years ago. We partied with a midget Ludacris.
Yes, that is right. In Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Oh, was that in Philly or was
that was in Philly? I think me and Chad, if memory serves me right, which it might not, we're probably the only sober ones there.
Yeah. Well, I was sober. I'm always sober, but yeah.
Yeah, and we had midget Ludacris there.
Yeah. There's a picture somewhere.
Did he rap, or was he just more of like hanging out?
He's more of a figurehead, I felt.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Nah, man. Did he work there? I think
he was like part of the party.
Like security or something.
One thing you'll learn when you guys start getting into like the whole like affiliate thing, you end up in some pretty funny situations sometimes.
Yeah,
I feel it's just like what everyone's trying to outdo each other. You know, be like, oh, did you go to this affiliate party? There was like ludicrous midgets, or this one there was like hippopotamuses walking around.
Oh man, baby tigers, all sorts of stuff. Sometimes.
Yeah. There was some. There was the hangover party in Vegas, like maybe, God, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. I mean, there's probably been several of them, but this one, they had like a chicken in there and all that sort of stuff. And I don't know, it was cool to have a chicken in your party, but I'm like, because I'm like the one sober dude in the whole thing, and I'm thinking, man, like I don't see the appeal of having a chicken running around.
Yeah.
Like is it really a crazy party if you have a chicken, or you just somebody brought a chicken? You know what I mean?
You know who probably didn't like that either? Know. The chicken.
Yeah, exactly.
The chicken was probably like, what the fuck is going on? I'm scared for my life.
Yeah, exactly, man. Jeez. So whatever. I mean, I don't think a party's necessarily a crazy party if there's a chicken there.
No, that's interesting though.
But yeah, oh well, there you go.
I have to admit, the last one I was at ASW, there was a llama walking around.
Oh man, I don't ball that hard, dude.
Yeah,
I don't get invited to the llama parties.
Yo, that was a Cash Network's party.
Oh really?
Yeah, man, they had a llama cruising around.
But you know what? I guess it's working because we're talking about it, right? Like
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. And you got paid for the Cash Network plug and all that. So
yeah,
I wish we got paid for plugs. We'd be rich. We plug
I know, right?
we sell out easily.
Yeah, mostly energy drinks.
Yeah, if anything, and actually, we got a letter in the mail. What was that letter about? Like beards?
Oh yeah, we got a guy he liked our beards or whatever, and he follows us on Instagram. So he sent us like a whole bunch of like beard oils and beard washes and stuff. Yeah, and it smells great, but I shaved my beard off, so it's quite useless. It's what is it? Garrett's Brothers Beard Co.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, Garrett'sBrothersBeardCo.com. And now I'm plugging them, and I didn't really plan on plugging them.
There you go. Well,
I guess that's how it works.
Yeah,
you send people free stuff and hope they bring it up.
Well, also, yeah, when
welcome, Clay, you're welcome.
There you go. Well, when I naturally tell people about products, I'm not doing the URL just like you did there, all professionally and whatnot. But that was a pretty,
my thought was that
was pretty cool.
I came that far. I might as well just plug the website,
Okay, gotcha. Well, that was nice.
But it smells great. I haven't got to use it or anything, but I'm excited to when I eventually get a beard back. But whatever.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good job. All right.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right. Moving on to something applicable.
Yeah. Back to our traffic vendor, Chad. One of the reasons I wanted to bring Chad on this podcast is he just has like years and years, and in the internet world, we'll call it decades of knowledge. He's bought so many different types of traffic. He came out with a course on traffic. I've actually purchased that course on Udemy several times myself, just because I bought it for like different teams. I guess I could have just bought it once. Hey?
Oh, okay. I thought, I was gonna say, you don't have to buy it several times, but I appreciate that.
Yeah. But yeah, he's bought all sorts of traffic, email traffic. You're actually the only one I've ever seen who really speaks about email traffic. Facebook, Google. I know you've done the agency a long time, or before.
Yeah.
I know you've done I know you've been a lot of traffic behind some of the bigger offers that have gone around the affiliate world.
Yeah, a lot of the video sales letter stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in the Nutra space. So I really wanted you to bring you on today so we could kind of talk about some of that stuff. And people, they're so used to hearing us talk about e-commerce and all that's great, but without traffic, all of it's useless.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, feel free to ask away. Like I got experience as a trial advertiser, a publisher. I have a big publishing site. So I've had, I like to overcomplicate my life. So I've got a lot of experience in different, my wife loves it, and there you go. So,
So how'd you get into this industry?
So, I mean, the story's always been consistent. It's the same thing. I was living in Thailand back in 2008, 2009 with my wife. We moved from Canada there because, we were just in corporate type jobs, and I was a business analyst at the time. And, I'd always been interested in fighting, like mixed martial arts and Muay Thai and whatnot, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I'd been fighting and competing since I was about 21. So let's say 2001. And so I was doing that while I have this full-time job. And, I tell my wife, we're not really doing what we want to do here. So let's go somewhere that's cheap enough to be able to train and, train full-time, fight, and not really have to work much. At the time we didn't really have, much money and ever. So, Thailand was the only place we could really think of that has good training, and it was really cheap. So we lived there for a while, a year and a half, fought, trained, went in a lot of debt, but it was it was a great year. And then my dad ended up getting sick badly back in about at the end of that trip. So early 2009, February 2009. And so we had to move back to Canada because he was going to be living with us. And so, I would have gone back to the corporate job, but I was deathly afraid of going back to it. But I was I started teaching private lessons for striking and kickboxing, but I basically had to find a way to make money. And so I was literally the guy that just typed in, into Google how to make money online. Yeah. And back then their compliance wasn't that good. So I was coming up to all these BizOp offers. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. What year was this?
It was 2009. Wow. I came back to Canada January 6, 2009.
Wow.
Sorry, no, not January 6, June 6, 2009. And so then I was a couple of months before, when I was still in Asia, I was typing in how to make money online and just reading about stuff. And I tried to sell because it's always a dog training ebook, isn't it? That's why I tried to then, because I was well, damn. Sorry, I'll try not to swear, but I was
oh no, you can swear as much as you want.
Oh fuck, great. So I was well, the dog training ebook, that makes sense. So I start writing articles and doing SEO stuff, and I was horrible at it and I hated it. But I made maybe $20, but I was man, this has been literally $2 an hour, maybe. To do all this. So then I eventually came across, I don't know how I came, it was probably in a forum somewhere. I came across the old PPC coach site.
Oh yeah. Who ran that?
Will Hamrell. And I think that's how you say his last name, but yeah, Will's. And so that's actually where a lot of the dudes who, STM guys, I believe. And, don't quote me, but a lot of the guys who became well-known in this and, into Wicked Fire and stuff, they kind of started, they were all there.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
Yeah. A lot of people. And I don't know if that's where they got their start, but I believe they were through there at some point from what I remember.
Yeah.
And I actually met my partner for Life Buzz my publishing site there. And but it was just, it was just like everybody else. I learned there, and I studied, and I had enough money to pay for the membership site, and then I went into more debt testing, and then then I came across some Nutra stuff, and there was no spying tools. It was very, you can imagine it was very different. You had to kind of manually spy stuff, and I actually came across an ad on Facebook, a Nutra ad that I just kept following me. I'm just like, man, this ad is always here. So I was like, I figured they must be making pretty good money if they're always running it, right? Yeah. And then I ran the ad on Google, because I started on Google Display is what I use.
Oh, that was your first traffic source.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I did a bit of like Bing, Bing content, so MSN content, but I didn't do that graded. I didn't really stick with it, so I didn't put a full effort to it. But I stuck with Google Display more, and we still use Google Display, still like it, but back then it was fairly different in some ways. And I just took that same campaign. I took that campaign from Facebook that I found and took it to Google Display, and it was like, man, it was like a 6-figure campaign in a month.
Wow.
In my 3rd month doing this.
Yeah.
Which was really good, because I was starting to, I was already in debt from that trip. It was starting to get really bad. And eventually I got down to like I'd gotten into like 65K in debt.
Wow.
Yeah, not from testing, but just from the trip and like not having income, and then also testing.
Yeah.
So I'm not the example of how to do it. Have a job and then work after your job.
Well, not a way to do it with low
but
stress.
at the same time, man, like I bet you like that need to make money pushed you even harder. So it probably helped. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. There's always that hustle, and you just put yourself in a really tough position. I don't think everyone's cut out to do it or should do it. And I don't even know if I should do it, but it seems to motivate me and whatnot. Yeah. And I take bigger risks.
10 years later, though, you're still doing it. So I think you're set up for it.
That's not a good thing, man. I don't know, but no, I'm kidding. So I mean, it worked out. So that's how I got started, Google Display, and just basically because I needed money, and then it started working out. And I remember it was funny because I was driving a Nissan Sentra, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was the only car we had, and so I had this first month that was really good. And it's not like I went and bought a really nice car, but I went and bought a Nissan Rogue.
Nice.
With my wife, and I bring it home. My dad's at home; he's living there. He's sick with us, and his eyes wide, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" Because he didn't know what I'd been doing, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so, I'm like, he's just like bugging me a lot about the car, and I go, "Dad, come here. I want to show you this." And I show him my stats, and the car in his mind disappears.
That's so funny.
He's like, "Holy shit!" And it starts. I don't know. That's it. He forgot about it, but. Not saying go buy a car on your first successful month, but we needed a second car.
Yeah.
But if you need a car, you might have one for sale, right, Chad? I
do. Yeah, I'm selling. I have an R8 for sale. It's actually I have a guy who's buying it. Looks like he's buying it. Yeah, out of Long Island. I forgot I was gonna have a platform to promote it on.
Yeah.
We have a lot of car guys. Like our
do.
Most of our base is built off car guys because I'm big into that scene. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we get a lot of following from that.
Oh, great that I'm doing this now. Okay.
They
literally did the inspection today. So.
Oh, wow. What are you going to get next, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know, but something with back seats.
Ferrari FF.
Does it have back seats? Really?
It does, actually.
Because legit, man, I swore the R8 had back seats. I drove it once in Vegas, like on a trial, like, one of those race things you drive around.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And I tell my wife, cool, we'll be able to put the girls in the back seat sometimes. And it comes off the truck, and I'm like, oh, it's a cool looking car. And then I look in the back, and it's got no back seats.
What?
I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
And then my wife looks at me just disgusted.
There's a few good,
but she's cool.
4-seater options, which is good out there. I think like now everyone's building supercars more so they're usable.
Yeah. No, there's no point to that. I'll just go back to a Sentra or something.
Back to a Sentra.
Fair enough.
I still have that Rogue, by the way.
Do you?
I drove it until the R8. Like for all through this time, I drove it until this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, you don't need a
you might miss the R8 though.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
There's always newer and better, and there's no shortage of fast cars out there. So
yeah,
it's
actually funny every time I talk to Chad. Well, not every time, but a lot of times he'll be like, "Oh, I met this guy. They wouldn't even buy my R8," and then he's like, "Are you interested?" I'm like, "I'm good, man. Thanks, though."
I'm not. Well, I'm not somebody like ever to buy like expensive toys and stuff, right? But my wife was like, "Why don't you, for once, treat yourself?" I said, "Oh, okay, I did it," and then drive it around. But then I drive it like a normal car. Like, some people like they have a car and then they have their everyday car, and then they have an exotic or something. Whatever. Yeah. I don't do that. Like that was my everyday car. I go down the street, whatever. I drive the R8. I'm like, this is weird. Like it starts feeling like your normal car.
Yeah.
Not like you're ripping it up every time you take it up.
No, but that's the luxury of an R8 is it's so usable every day.
It is, yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah. But I'm easy.
Fair enough.
No doubt, man.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So let's fast forward because you did mention something you're up to now, LifeBuzz, right?
Yeah, well, LifeBuzz was awesome. Oh man, LifeBuzz, that was like the business that was supposed to be like the sound. I should we should cut this part out, but no, like, okay, let's be real. Like in affiliate marketing, it's an aggressive type of thing, right? Yeah. Yeah, it very well can be. I think everybody kind of knows that. But LifeBuzz was one of those businesses where it was very scalable, and it was a viral site. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, lifebuzz.com. It was a viral site when like Viral Nova and 22 words, I believe it is, and then BuzzFeed and all that stuff. When they started trending up in early 2014, we started it, and we were getting viral spikes 3-4 times a week. So we started in February, let's say March, April of 2014. We had 40 million uniques, I believe it was.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just amazing, and why it wasn't because I was like running some amazing traffic or anything. Like my buddy Travis, my partner in it, he built this thing that we called Cerebro, like the thing from X-Men, where it was basically like BuzzSumo before BuzzSumo came out, where we could see like which pieces of content around the world were spiking in volume. And then so we would see what had a certain trajectory of velocity, because velocity was the metric you looked at. And then we just take that piece and we share it on our fan page. And we didn't have a big fan page, but stuff started getting picked up. And I remember Rosie O'Donnell shared something once, and then that helped. And then bam, like people just start sharing stuff because they really liked it. Everybody enjoyed the content. Everybody, devoured it, loved it, shared it. Nobody complained, none of that stuff. And we just had, great net profit, great volume that first year. Right. It was great. And we only got into it because I wanted a site of I wanted to create like a content site. So if you got, if any of the listeners, go into like something like AdBeat, which is like a competitive intelligence thing, and they find a site called Health Headlines. It's an old site. So basically it's kind of like an article site that pre-sells offers. Right. So I wanted a site like that. That's what I wanted originally. And my buddy Travis, who's like a god developer, he's the best developer I've worked with. He's like, well, why don't we make this? He's like, you want to try making this something else? You want to make it like one of those viral sites? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I don't care. I'm easy. And we did that, and it worked like right away. And we were both horrible publishers. Like we didn't know what we didn't know what we were doing. We had his girlfriend who's amazing at content, and she worked just really hard. And it was just the three of us initially.
Wow, that's cool.
And I would just kind of like use content boosts on Facebook ads to basically, let's say we launched, 10 pieces of content the first week. I'd launch all of them with like $5-10.
Yeah.
And then, one of them would spike or spark, and then we'd be like, okay, that one. And the thing about true viral traffic back then, you couldn't push it any further from what I saw anyway. Like it would get to a velocity and then it would take off. You could put 100 or let's say you could put 1,000 or $10,000 into it, and it wouldn't change it, very much.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's just going to take off. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's what we did. We still have LifeBuzz, but it's changed so much over the years. It's become more of a content arbitrage thing. We use a lot of native traffic, and a lot of that was due just because at the end of 2014, Facebook started to change the algorithms, as everybody knows. So they started cutting down reach on a lot of fan pages and whatnot. And then that just got progressively worse and worse over the years. We did influencer traffic, paying influencers for traffic and that sort of stuff. So we did a lot of that. But now it's a lot of native traffic. It's more of an arbitrage thing. You got to watch the margins a lot closer.
Mm-hmm.
So
does it still grow?
Yeah, we had a good, it's always seasonal. So we had a good November, December, typical. This is actually the first January we've been profitable.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So November, December, it spikes, and then January it drops?
It's just like e-commerce. It's like retail. So Q4, October, November, December, and then January it drops. So the way it works, it's kind of like the beginning of the year and the end of the year are just inversely correlated, right? With the end being good, but that also carries through down to the week of throughout the year. So like Monday isn't a good time to ramp. Tuesday's not a good time to ramp. Wednesday you start to climb. Thursday, Friday, Saturday are the best days. Sunday is kind of it can be, and then back down Monday, right? Wow. And then that carries through to the end of the month versus the beginning of the month, the end of the quarter versus the beginning of the quarter, and then the year as well. And then as you go further throughout the year, it improves.
Interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty predictable. But we've had, obviously a lot of unpredictable things happen, but it's mostly due to Facebook. I love them. They're my guys. And
so when you say traffic arbitrage, so a lot of people listening to this will understand that, but there's a lot of other people who have no fucking clue what you're talking about. You want to give a brief explanation of what that is?
Sure. The simplest explanation I can give you is this. We work off of a metric called RPS, which is revenue per session. So the session is a visitor. So visitor is a click. So if the revenue per session, it's kind of like your EPC. So if the revenue per session is 8 cents and your cost per session, which is your click, is 6 cents, you're making money at least on a return of ad spend.
Gotcha.
Right? That's all it is.
Spending 6 to make 8.
Yeah. Now, we usually have to work on better margins than that because there's a lot more overhead here than in an affiliate business.
Gotcha.
Right? We have content people, ad ops, commissions. We have certain media buyer commissions, like we give commissions to media buyers.
Yeah.
There's tech overhead. So it's quite a bit different than an affiliate business.
I can see that.
So what's your end goal with that? Like to build it up and sell it, or just keep growing it?
Yeah, we've been in a sales process for, we've been looking for a buyer for quite some time. Mm-hmm. We have an interested party. That's all I can really say on it, but
yeah, fair enough.
I will say that we missed the boat on the biggest sales because Viral Nova was the big one at the time. And then there was Elite Daily, if you guys are familiar with that.
I remember that site.
So Elite Daily in their 4th year didn't do as well as LifeBuzz in its first, from what I understand, like what was publicly revealed on their numbers.
Yeah.
And so they sold for pretty sizable amounts, like 8-figure amounts from what I understand. And Viral Nova, it was publicized, sold for $100 million in cash and stock. Now I don't know the whole breakdown behind that and whatever else, but we missed that type of big payout because we were like, okay, we're going to hold it. It's a little bit longer. And we didn't also know where to take it to sell, right? At the time. And that was when the Facebook reach started dropping quite a bit. Gotcha. And I've talked to guys who are kind of involved in the Viral Nova sale to a degree, and they said, yeah, buying Viral Nova was a big mistake at that price. Because back then it was like the viral sites were kind of darlings in a way.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, wow, there's so much, there's so many users and this and that. But you got to think that the tech investors and the buyers and all that, the VCs and stuff, they didn't understand how it was happening, like clickbait and whatever else.
Mhm.
right?
So they didn't understand, and they didn't realize that Facebook overnight would change the algos, because Facebook's whole intention, and I said it years ago to the guys, I was like, we need to build 10 of these right now because Facebook's not going to allow us for long. They don't want you taking their traffic off site
I
for
can see
free.
that.
That's all it is. Like,
Yeah.
and it's a shot at Google's display network, right?
Totally.
Because Google used to say publicly, "Oh, Facebook's not our competition. It's, Bing, because we're a search company." But the majority of Google's revenue doesn't come from search; it comes from display and whatnot, right, and other products. So when you limit the amount of traffic leaving the biggest referrer in the world, which is Facebook, that it takes a hit on Google, right?
Yeah.
And you'll see, like, what nobody at Google said it. It's just an assumption of mine. I don't know if it's a correct assumption, but Google's AdWords policy has been a lot more lax lately. Now
I
you can't
have
be,
noticed the same thing.
and their support is way better than Facebook's.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they can just open up a chat and start talking to them. And just a tip for the guys, I like to talk to the guys at night, the guys that are out in I assume they're overseas because it's late at night. Maybe they're working 24 hours. And those guys seem a lot more helpful. And but even the people during the day are pretty good too. But it's just way better than it used to be. It used to be like, oh, this is the policy and that's it.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah, no, and yeah, you've noticed the same.
Absolutely, man. I've found that they're like way more accommodating. Like, if there's a problem with your landing page, they'll provide you more direction and stuff like that. And that's just what I've heard from talking to other people. But I've kind of noticed it as a trend overall. People are saying they're getting more and more success with working through issues with people at Google.
Mm-hmm. I'm also seeing smaller brands using YouTube videos, YouTube advertising a lot too, which is under the same platform.
Yeah. Well, YouTube's great for the, for any type of business. I mean, video, it's cliche now at this point to say, but video is just what people are consuming now.
Yeah.
But like in the guru markets, consulting markets, that sort of stuff, you never used to be able to advertise that stuff on Google. And now now I got Ty Lopez following me around. Well, he used to follow me around. Now I'm gonna have you guys follow me.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I hope so.
We don't spend money on ads yet, so
no.
This is purely just shareable content at this moment.
Cool. Yeah, so I've noticed that, with Google. But again, it was kind of like, in my opinion, is like kind of Facebook taking a stab at them. And nobody anticipated that in the viral space. So
how do they value those sites like Viral and Nova? Is it off revenue made, or is it just off user base?
So it was, how tech companies and whatnot and speculative properties, back in the .com bubble were kind of valued.
Yeah,
I think, just in a ridiculous way.
Yeah,
I think that's how Viral Nova. It's just my opinion, but I think that's how Viral Nova, Elite Daily were valued.
Gotcha.
I could be talking out my ass, and I don't know the particulars of the deal, but there wasn't much there, like behind it all. I mean, if it was traffic and audience, it's not BuzzFeed. Those aren't BuzzFeed. Those sites. BuzzFeed has a ton of employees. They got a lot of their own properties. Viral Nova acquired a lot of their own properties, but it's very different. When I say properties, like fan pages, BuzzFeed has like YouTube channels and like they have original content, and everything's done on a large scale. And even BuzzFeed's lost valuation over the years. It's gone up and down, but I think it wasn't based on a revenue, like EBITDA type thing, like multiplier. From what I understand,
Gotcha.
right? Because from what I knew about Elite Daily's numbers, it wouldn't be based on their revenue, unless they decided for fun to publish revenue that was lower than what they actually had, which wouldn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Unless they
not
were
what you're trying to sell, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, and I know our revenue was triple what theirs was the year that they released those numbers.
Oh,
so,
wow.
So
is that something you're comfortable sharing? Is what a site like LifeBuzz would generate?
Yeah, LifeBuzz. I mean, there's guys out there like Little Things and stuff that do better than us. But I would say LifeBuzz in its first year did about 2.2 million in its first year. and it was about 100% ROI.
Wow.
Like 105%. But in 2015, 2016, it did closer to 8 million gross revenue. But the ROI was a lot less.
Yeah.
Like 15%.
Yeah.
Because we had to buy so much traffic, right?
Yeah.
Last year, I think it was in the 7 or 8 range. 2015, 2016, or 2017. So, I mean, November and December. November did 1 million gross on its own. Like what did I tell you the other time? Like 950,000 or something. And then December was 1.5 in
Interesting.
gross.
So December was more. I guess that's closer to Christmas time.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, I guess in retail it'd be like e-commerce. You guys probably see like the Black Friday stuff.
Yeah, November was our biggest.
Yeah, but we benefit from that. We benefit Halloween, so we benefit. Let's say Valentine's coming up, so February will be good. We benefit Halloween. Yeah, anytime somebody's buying some things, costumes, flowers, it doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
Black Friday, Thanksgiving, Cyber Monday, all that stuff. And then obviously Christmas is the biggest one.
So do you guys run your own, do you run your own offers on your own site? Does that make sense?
So the offers that I owned up until like recently now, I've been wanting to get into more lead gen and all that stuff. But the offers that I owned before were typically trial offers, neutral offers that a lot of affiliates are probably familiar with. We did that maybe for 2 to 3 days.
Gotcha.
The reason it was so short was because my partner and I didn't really want to mix the two types of things.
Yeah.
Right. Just because there's certain compliance matters around Nutra and whatnot versus a publishing site like LifeBuzz. The ad quality is another matter. Like we use like Outbrain, Taboola. We used Rev Content at one point for our native spots, right? And we make it G-rated because we need to keep it G-rated for Google compliance because Google is one of our larger revenue sources on LifeBuzz. But we did do it like for 2 to 3 days, and man, we pulled like $15, $16 CPAs on trial stuff.
Oh, are you serious?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I tell my partner Travis, and then he's like, "Man, I don't want to do this." It's like I don't want to have acai everywhere, and I go, "I don't have acai offers. I'm not doing." But no, he didn't want a bunch of skin offers and like one weird trick over 10 different spots or whatever. But
I love one weird trick. I feel like everyone refers to that who's ever worked in the affiliate industry.
Yeah, I think everybody loves one weird trick. But it's I think it's a great play though. Somebody that can, what guys are doing now is because a lot of the content we have to do is like paginated. So, it's slideshow type content and you just have to do it. And people don't like it. Right. But it's, we do it in a way where the stories at least are engaging. So there's a reason to go from one slide to the other. That's what we try to do more so.
If they want to know bad enough, they'll click the next slide.
Yeah. I mean, but again, when Facebook was giving free traffic to everybody and everybody was happy, Facebook didn't like that. So what are you going to do? Because we didn't do slideshows back then. Everybody just watched.
Man, I was just running the numbers in my head, and to do 1.5 million in December, like how many clicks did you have to that website?
Let me see. Let me
were you saying like 8 cents per visitor kind of deal?
It would have been higher in December, remember, because the rates are much higher.
Oh yeah.
Let me see.
Still would have been a lot of traffic.
Yeah. Is this your main focus still? This site?
LifeBuzz?
Yeah.
No, LifeBuzz wasn't my main focus. Like it's weird. My main focus for the past 3 years, up until about July of this year, was my trial, like my Nutra business. And okay, just one moment. So we had 10 million visits. Tyler, it was about 80 million page views.
Wow. So
it just gives you an idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Which is interesting because like with pure viral traffic, we trump that on a bad month. It's interesting.
Really?
It's just, you can't compare with that. we'd get like, we'd do 30,000, 40, 50,000 net in one day on a viral spike, not knowing what the hell we're doing, having
Just
like
traffic coming in.
hard coding Google AdSense and Rev content into the pages because we didn't have a proper ad stack or anything. Like had we had a proper ad stack back then, that 1 million profit after all, or $1.5 million or whatever it was after all expenses in 2014 would have probably been well over 6 or 7.
Wow.
Like if we had a proper ad stack going, but we didn't know what the hell we were doing. So
Yeah, you guys were just in it, right?
yeah.
What's kind of been like your most like aha day, like holy shit, I don't believe this just happened, like amazing day? Can you talk about that?
In a good way?
Yeah, no, in a good way. Yeah. I mean, you can follow up.
Chad's got a lot of war stories.
Yeah, you can follow up with a war story. Everyone likes a good war story.
Yeah, well, that's always great. I don't know. Like it was never. I don't know if it was ever really one day because I don't get too excited in this stuff. Probably because of the war stories.
Yeah.
No, legit. I don't like. My brother-in-law was like, he was over and helping us with some stuff, and I work from my kitchen table. Well, no, I actually got a proper desk now, which is I'm happy for that. But I was working from my kitchen table, and like I won't specify the number, but he looks at me because he was helping with the trial operation. He's like, "You run this from your kitchen table, man? Like, the amount of like revenue and stuff." And anyone who's seen behind a trial operation, the top line gross revenue looks very impressive, right?
Yeah.
Blah blah. Yeah. So, I don't know. There was days where like you do like several 100,000 in a day, in trial, right? Yeah. But the top line is impressive. The bottom line is it can be eaten really quickly, based on reserves and whatever else. But in LifeBuzz, I would say the best was it wasn't even the revenue. It equated to about a 45 to 50K net in the day. Mm-hmm. But it would it was pure profit after that. But it was cool to watch Google, Google AdWords, the real time. Sorry, not the AdWords, the Google Analytics real time. And there was like 160,000 people on site at once.
Wow.
Or something. That was just pretty cool. And there's probably like some monsters listening to this who have hit higher, but I thought that was pretty cool because like in affiliate stuff or whatever, you usually won't hit that.
No, not at all. 160,000 people?
Like at one time. I mean, I've known some guys that do 1 million CPV pops, right? Which is pretty crazy in a day. But on site at one time of people actually consuming content, I thought that was really cool, so that's always what it was. It was always like, how much could we stress the servers out back then? And my buddy Travis, like he just did a great job at always making sure the servers were, handling it. That was cool. That was more cool than the revenue and whatnot, I think.
Yeah.
Dude, I got to say, man, one of my most exciting times in affiliate marketing that sticks out of my mind is one time I was running ads. I was running pop ads on those sites where you can like watch online soccer games.
Yeah.
And I guess like Real Madrid was playing.
Oh, okay.
And all my sites go down and I get like Uptime Robot or Pingdom or whatever I was using, like notifying me that my site's down.
Mm-hmm.
And I hit up Liquid Web and they're like, "Oh, you're getting a DDoS attack, yada, yada, yada." And I hit my traffic source and they're like, "No, man, Real Madrid's playing." There were so many people coming to my site at that moment. They like just totally crashed the server.
Yeah, man.
Nowhere near your 160,000. That's amazing.
Yeah.
No, but isn't just viral or organic traffic can just be so immense, like, to a level that I don't see a lot of media buyers like, not myself. I mean, we've run on some VSL offers through ourselves and guys that we partnered with at the time, like, 300-400 up to 500 sales a day on video sales letter offers, which, our average sale is like over $200.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
It weren't our offers. We were running traffic to them. But yeah, if you do the math, it's a lot of revenue.
Oh, yeah.
But still, that's not, to me, like a lot of volume.
It's like $100,000 a day.
Yeah. But it's not a lot of volume in terms of the traffic, right?
Yeah, totally.
To me, it's when there's that many people is pretty cool. Like, because, the revenue, it's impressive as well in another way, but it's more like, wow, that many people. So that was kind of like, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that's 100% cool, man.
Yeah.
As far as like traffic nowadays, man, where do you kind of like, where are some of your favorite traffic sources that you run?
Yeah, so I won't talk about the list names and stuff, but we like a lot. So in terms of for trial and what most people think of as like some of the more maybe aggressive affiliate offers, and we've toned it down a lot. I will say we've toned it down a lot. We've tried to anyway.
Yeah.
No, but we
Has
do.
ROI changed?
What's that?
Has ROI changed since you've like toned it down?
No, you know what? Actually, what's interesting is, let's say you're using advertorials and whatnot. We've made them where they have full disclaimers, top and bottom, and all that sort of stuff. And we don't and it's no good for advertiser quality too. And being that I was an advertiser for about 3 years, I appreciate. Yeah, exactly. So our retention's good for the advertisers. But yeah, we didn't notice any drop on our conversion rates. Like nothing, really noticeable. I don't know if you noticed that or whatever, but I mean, if you're doing that stuff, but really, it's been fine in that regard. But in terms of favorite traffic sources for that sort of thing, we like to go direct to let's say online magazines or whatever. And, one that a lot of people know is, I'll just say this one, a lot of people know is like Newsmax, for example, right?
Newsmax.com.
Yeah, Newsmax.com. And they have a lot of options, very competitive too, because a lot of people know of it now, but, and they'll have different options. Like, so they might have a sponsored email where it's like an article, but you have a banner ad inside of it. We like that type of style because it's a way to test it low risk.
Yeah.
And then you have like, a dedicated drop, which is basically you own the entire email creative, right? Those are more expensive, the higher CPM. So we like to do that.
Better? How do you
well, not necessarily, because the cost is so high. So again, it comes down to the EPC versus the effective CPC on the drop.
Yeah.
Right?
So how much you earn per click as opposed to how much you pay.
Yeah, exactly. So we might let's say do a clickbaity style of email creative just to get the clicks at an effectively lower CPC, right? Now, at the same time, we have to balance that with how that's converting on the other side, because often if you do some clickbaity type of thing, it's not going to convert. It's not going to drive as many converters. But what we found is that type of creative, that style of creative, even with a lot of the clicks being kind of useless clicks, I don't want to say useless, but with them not being converters, it still works out to be, better performing. The other thing you can do with that type of traffic is, and we're starting to do this more, is use like lead capture devices and stuff like that on the landers, so that if somebody isn't buying or whatever else, and it just sends somebody over, we can still start collecting the data. So we want to start doing that now.
That's something, as we've talked about, that's something I'm a huge fan of. We've had great success with that before, where we capture the lead, capture the email, redirect it to an offer. Actually, that education funnel I mentioned to you before was the one Gabe was running the traffic on the front end on that.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys burnt out the angles for me, man. I gotta find all this other stuff. But
bro, you want me to show you how to do it? I'm just kidding.
No, I don't mind. I'm always learning, man. I'm always learning.
No, I know. I'm just saying that because, clearly you're the veteran here, and I've just got started in the last probably 5-6 years.
Oh, well, I mean, that's what are you talking about? That's still experience, dude.
I know.
No, it's just it's just I'm always learning, so I don't really care about it. But yeah, no. So we want to do that. We want to capture the leads on there, and we've done it before. So that's always a good way to kind of squeeze more of clicks that might not necessarily be converters.
Totally.
For that email traffic.
Do you do much Facebook at all?
Yeah, we do. We used to do a lot of Facebook in 2014. Going into early 2015, we used to spend and manage between agency and affiliate stuff like up to 800,000 to $1 million a month.
Wow,
on spend.
serious numbers.
Yeah, I mean, there's guys doing crazy amounts, as you know, higher than that, but you know, we did good with it and whatnot. We kind of went away from it from a while because at the end of the day, what we ran was a lot of Nutra stuff,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily trial, but like even the VSL type offers, video sales letter offers, and you know, Facebook users just stopped wanting to see that sort of thing. So, you know, we're just encountering a lot of ad disapprovals and whatnot. So we would kind of always we wouldn't move traffic sources a lot. I'm not a big fan of doing that, but we would value a converting offer higher versus pivoting the entire business
Mm-hmm.
at the time, you know, if we could avoid it.
Yeah.
So, but like Tyler, you know that I'm more open now and more aggressively going towards some like lead gen stuff or whatever else, right? So,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, and so getting more back into Facebook and that sort of stuff because it's such like I mean, if you got something that is cool to run on Facebook, it's like the best traffic source.
Totally.
I find. Yeah, it's the most powerful platform.
It's never ending too, you know. It's just like I feel like you just build different targeting, different ads, everything all day, and it just.
Well, it's like if you need to target or not target, it's just so
Yeah.
powerful. You can approach it as like a broad, like the way we used to run because we were doing Nutra and stuff that was super mass market and we didn't need much targeting. We just needed volume. Is we would just age target, you know.
Yeah.
So if something that was an offer related to brain health or whatever else, like an ebook or something, we would just target, you know, 60 plus or whatever it was, or we might target and then gender, and that's it. And we would run it like a big direct to site media buy, which is something, you know, we would do a lot of in the past as well. Whereas Google, you know, we approach it differently, but Facebook, and then you can also tightly target, you know, guys doing it in the internet marketing niches or, you know, finance niches, crypto even now. Well, crypto is kind of, you could do a mass market, but you can just go as granular as you want, you know.
For us, like our biggest months, man, have just been like, it's just been super wide open, biggest audience, like 9 million audience and up, and then just like blast it. And it's worked well. And that's how I've had, like, even in the past, that's how I've had my biggest months. So I've never really had success with the niche down targeting. So
how do you find that for your ROI though? Compared to
so our, like on e-commerce, the ROI is pretty low overall, but you can generally produce like 2 to 1, 3 to 1 with wide targeting like that. It really depends.
A big reason too, ROI, like what we shoot for is like 30%, but like in our biggest month, we were like sub 10. But we are also pushing because we wanted to build the retargeting pixel, build up the email list, because our store is somewhat seasonal. So what our plan was to build up the list. That way, when it slows down, like in January, we still have that list we can remarket to through email.
Yeah.
But we find like the tough part about our store, which like I know, you know, obviously we've been chatting a lot. The reason we're looking at other kind of e-commerce models right now is our products sometimes are 30 to 50% of the cost out the gate.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. So that only gives you, you know, 50 to 60% to make up with your ad costs and then have profit, and which, you know, we've been able to do that. But, you know, we talk to other guys where they're like, you know, spending, or their product cost is like a 10th or a 1/20th of what they're selling for. And we're like, man, what could we do with margins like that, you know?
Yeah, that's incredible.
So that's a big pivot that we've made. But yeah, it's definitely been interesting to see. It's been surprising at times too. Like one thing that the reason I think we've been successful with e-com, like if I showed you our products, like you could find them on AliExpress. We don't have anything that's super secretive or special. Like it's all on there. We have tons of other competitors, whatever. The reason we're able to make it work is just because of the nature of Facebook. You know, people are going on there to check out pictures or whatever they're doing. Where like Google, we really struggled on e-commerce because one day I looked at our ads on Google Shopping and like our competitor was our manufacturer was right there selling our exact product for like half the price.
I think it was less than half the price.
Just like,
We were selling it for like, it was like something like $15 compared to like our like 70 or something, you know?
It was ridiculous. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so it's like, but because Gabe is such a killer on Facebook, you know, Facebook is so great because there's no price comparison shopping, you know?
No, yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not sure if you've used like Google Display retargeting for the guys that are.
We hired a guy to do everything, man, and like we tried every aspect, and it just he couldn't make it work for us, and it wasn't his fault. He was a pretty smart dude. Well, he still is actually, but it was just it was
still is.
Yeah, he still is. It's just a tough racket.
Yeah,
there's days he would be up, and then there's days where like somehow it went. But we found Facebook just to be such a great traffic source, like you're saying, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's right there, people buy right on the spot. The lead value is so good.
Yeah, it's. I mean, so let's say the video sales letter. You know, there was one. It was a brain health offer, like I mentioned. We ran it successfully on Google Display at pretty high revenue. We ran it good on Facebook, email, almost every source. It was one of those offers that like is a unicorn. You know, you take it anywhere, and that's kind of stuff we look at. It would just convert really well.
Yeah.
We ran it on native. Facebook was like $30 to $40 CPA lower than everything else on average, which is it actually equated to about 30 to 40%. So because our target CPA was about $100. But yeah, it's just ridiculous how good their traffic is, and you know I give them hell for busting my balls compliance wise, but I get it because they have good traffic. What are you gonna do? But they got really good stuff. So, but yeah, we would run it really broad for a long time. Just we wouldn't use a lot of targeting. But on the flip side, like I was saying, you also have that option of some super granular targeting.
Mm-hmm. I think it really comes down to like how good your creatives are, how good your pre-sale is, and everything like that. To like when it comes down to running broad or not.
No, exactly. So, I used to talk about this in the past, but the way we would do it is, this means like Facebook, and I think it was because we were used to doing direct site buys and Google Display first, was we would pre-qualify with the ad. I'd pre-qualify with that ad and the landing page.
So
more.
What do you mean by that? Like just so people can kind of hold it in their mind.
Just so I know.
No, for sure. I mean, it's fancy words for probably what you do, but basically, like if you're just age targeting, we might ask a question that concerned about. Let's do a really basic example. But concerned about your fine lines and wrinkles, or concerned about this, or something like that, or obviously the popular eat this, never have X again type of thing, or whatever type of ad you're doing. But you're already pre-qualifying the interest. We wouldn't use the clickbait ones without some targeting, but very light targeting. Like the clickbait type angles might be something that is you can't do this on Facebook really anymore, but it used to be something where it was like a shocking headline that was kind of related to a celeb or something.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that would get the clicks over, but we would use targeting with that. Now I knew guys that would blow up offer caps without using targeting on that. Right. But we found the quality was a little bit better. So, it just worked. But that's what I mean by pre-qualifying is you're already selling what's going to be on the next page. So for us, let's say when we were doing a lot of the video sales letter stuff, another thing we would do when it come to banner ads or images or whatever is we would put like the text video in brackets in the image. Does that make sense?
The text video in brackets.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Basically, you'd be telling people they're going to watch a video?
Yeah, exactly. So, eventually, in the beginning, they allowed, certain platforms would let you put a video play button. Eventually,
gotcha.
Eventually, we weren't allowed to do that, but because when you're promoting VSLs, a big part of the problem is somebody clicks and they didn't know that's a video, right? So when we would even pre-qualify with that and set that expectation, it would improve it immensely when you're doing mass traffic. And then you don't try to obviously sell the product in the creative, but you try to sell what it's about. So the curiosity that they're going to find out in the video.
Interesting. So for us, we basically do video ads for some of our products, and we'll just straight hard sell the video or hard sell the product in that video, and then the landing page itself is not much. It's just a Shopify store with a little bit of info and then buy now. But that's what you're saying is really smart. That's cool.
Well, but that's not how I'd approach e-commerce though. The way that way that I'm talking, I think in e-commerce and that sort of stuff, you would want to pre-qualify. Like what you're doing with the video ad is pre-qualifying it. That's your mini video sales letter.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, because then they click over, they just want to buy it. Like if they either like the video or they don't like it, and they want to buy it. I think it would be really, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think it would be really counterproductive to use curiosity and whatnot and being a little vague on the ad to sell them, whatever you're selling, because then you're going to have to put that whole pitch on the lander.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? But when if you're using something like an advertorial or you're using something like a video sales letter, you'd need to get the click over there somewhat qualified, but not as much as like an e-commerce where you're just sending them to the site to close the sale. They're already highly interested, right? You're probably even telling them the price in the ad.
No, not really. I never do. I usually just make them click over because I want to be able to retarget them.
Oh, okay, retarget, and then probably that allows you to split test the pricing too, right?
Yeah, when we do it, we rarely do it, but
okay. No, so that's yeah, I mean that makes sense. Like I know some guys obviously they put the pricing right in the ad and whatnot, but but yeah, no, I wouldn't approach it the way I do for other stuff for e-commerce. So, full disclosure, we don't do a lot of e-commerce stuff.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, yeah.
That would be interesting to do the video thing in e-commerce simply to like leverage, because retargeting is definitely something we've obviously seen such a great return on that maybe if we made it more like click here to watch the video, that might get some like extra shares and stuff like that could work out for retargeting in a better way.
Possibly, but I mean, we know that the Facebook video ads, they get a lot of reach, right? And they tend to get a little more preference in the newsfeed. So you're probably getting more coverage doing it that way.
Gotcha.
I'm just, it's how easy is it to just set up a test, right?
Yeah, 100%, man. James probably likes, well, not really, but there's times we're talking about ideas. He's like, yep, setting that up right now.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
He's working right now. I mean, what is it to do that test? That's pretty easy. So
yeah,
I'd venture to guess it's going to work better how you're doing it though.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Cool.
So I have a question for you, man. Desert island, except you have a computer and internet. You got one traffic source. What is it?
Geez. I probably don't need to make much money on the desert island. No, just kidding.
Valid point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Facebook.
Really, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
How come Facebook?
I think just because, like, that's a weird scenario, man. Just because, like, to me, that scenario is like, okay, I will never have another traffic source again. So when I think of that, I'm like, well, I'm gonna try to then master and have the one that I think will always have scalable converting traffic.
Gotcha.
Is kind of how. So it's gonna be like. And it's closest to conversion point. Like typically it converts very well if you do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But Facebook, you get IG too. You get Instagram. So, you're kind of getting 2 for 1.
Oh yeah. Good call, man. Good call. Yeah. And audience network. I've actually had all right success on audience network.
You know what's funny? I just watched a video about a guy saying that audience network is actually working really well for them. And my experience, like I've tried it once a long time ago and it was garbage. And then I just moved on and haven't thought of it since, but I've heard it twice in a week. So that's kind of like a sign that I should probably dabble.
That's it. You're on it right now.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain what audience network is for people?
Yeah, it's just it's like banner ads, interstitials, that sort of stuff throughout. So Facebook, this is how I understand it. I mean, shit, I could be totally, I'm just buying traffic from something. No, so the Facebook has has ads distributed on other apps. and they also, now I don't know if Audience Network goes on the Facebook native. Do you know if it does?
I don't.
Like
I don't
so,
know much about Audience Network at all, to be honest. I'm learning as you talk about it.
oh, okay. I'm a horrible teacher for it then. But on the, on I know on like on LifeBuzz, for example, we ran Facebook's native ads in competition with like Outbrain and other stuff, and Gemini, whatever else. So I don't know if that inventory is also included in it. I would think so, because I don't know where else you would bid on that inventory.
Mhm.
Facebook has like a content network for websites.
Yeah.
I think
that's going to blow up when people find out about it.
Oh yeah.
It's been pretty well known. Just the rates weren't that good. Like when we put it into LifeBuzz, the rates were good in the beginning, but then they weren't competitive with like the native networks. But I got to think that Facebook eventually will win in that space, just because like anything else, they eventually, they gather data, they see, and their targeting is just so much better.
Yeah.
But as far as I knew traditionally, is the Audience Network was the native ads within applications, right? Within other like iPhone apps, other people's apps and stuff like that. So same Facebook audience ads, native ads, but in applications. And if somebody knows the true answer to this and I'm wrong, they'll probably point it out. But that's how I understood it, and that's how it's explained in the ads managers. So
okay, what are the creative sizes for that? Are they the similar ones to Facebook, or are they similar to like a banner style like native ad placement?
They seem similar. Like I don't know if they get resized by Facebook, but when I'm setting it up, I can target audience network without any different creative size.
Oh, cool.
It's really Instagram that seems to be the one that you need to set up some special stuff for sometimes.
Yeah. IG stories, Instagram stories especially.
Have you been doing a lot of that? I haven't done any of
that. During Christmas, we did actually, and it worked well. It was really cool. I haven't tested it too much. I just tried a little bit this month, or last month, I should say, and it didn't really work that great, but I have yet to dabble in it this month. So.
Is that right? Eh? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've heard some good things about it from other guys as well. So
yeah. So
that's cool.
You mentioned Yahoo Gemini. Do you want to talk about that traffic source? That's one we have not brought up at all, but I know guys crush it on there.
Yeah, Gemini is a really big in terms of a site like LifeBuzz and that sort of thing. It's a really big source. Along with Taboola, it's our biggest source for content arbitrage.
Interesting.
Content rec and stuff. We've done super good with it in like VSL and just affiliate offers.
Yeah.
Before. So, we don't find like Gemini though, man, it's like in pure Yahoo, like true Yahoo fashion. They decide to screw things up like after they have something really good.
Yeah.
And, the way they modified their bidding, like before you used to be able to separate desktop. Well, originally you couldn't separate desktop and mobile. It's just like, here it is. But then they allowed you to separate desktop and mobile in a true fashion. But then bid separately on them. Whereas now the way they do it, it's like they're 2 years behind AdWords all the time. Now what they did is you can specify mobile only or desktop and mobile, but then you use bid modifiers that kind of lower the bids for whatever device and tier of traffic you want. So it doesn't shut it off entirely, but it allows you to, put it like a negative 100% bid, for example. And that means you'll most likely get less or no traffic from there. It's kind of
sounds confusing.
Yeah, very much so. And then so that's how when Google started doing a shift a lot towards mobile traffic, that's how it was originally. And I don't know if you remember, there's a big stink about it where like, oh, you can't deselect mobile. I don't want this crappy mobile traffic.
Oh yeah.
And then mobile
was
became
crap at first, and now people love it.
Yeah, now I remember because I use AdBeat a lot for Intel, and I remember it was like maybe about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that the spends when I was spying on people, I'm like, man, well this, it says this site has a lot of spend, but it doesn't. And I was looking at desktop, and then I'd go to the mobile section, and it's like, all the spend was being allocated there. And then now, now you look through it, you can learn a lot in AdBee. It's a pretty cool tool.
Do you actually want to? That's another thing we've never brought up before, which we actually use ourselves. Adbeat.com.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah.
this isn't a shameless plug. This is something we actually use.
Yeah.
Because essentially what AdBeat does is you can basically spy on other people's campaigns, like what are the creatives, how often has it been seen, what websites are they like advertising on. And mind you, it doesn't show you Facebook or anything, but it shows you like it shows you a shit ton of information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Mike Colella, he's the guy behind. Have you met Mike before?
No, I've definitely been on webinars that he's presented on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mike's awesome, man. Like I've known him for a long time. We've hung out a bit. And that tool, like I've used it for several years. And I used it today. Like I use it almost like several times a week. Often.
Yeah.
Just we just find new angles on ads. You find new offers that are trending. If you're purely an affiliate, your concern should be mastering the traffic source to a degree, but then also finding offers that are trending and are unicorns for that time period, because that's what a lot of it is. I mean, you've heard other guys in the space mention how, you could be the best at media buying as you want, but if you have a crappy offer, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Whereas vice versa, where like you have mediocre traffic skills, but you find just a unicorn of an offer, you're gold, right? So,
dude, that's one thing we have seen in e-commerce.
Yeah, it's 100% product, like an average marketer can have like killer months. Just based off product.
Yeah, I've heard that, man. Like I've heard it's the same in the e-com space. It's just like that's why, I mean, supposedly, I don't know if you guys do this, but some of the top like e-com guys, when I was at this thing in Vegas last month, it was a private thing that I was at. Some of these guys were talking about how the best e-com guys they knew were doing like they test like 20 products a day.
Yeah.
Is that like for real? Like that's crazy.
That's what we've heard too.
Yeah, man. And we slack. We do like 10 a week at most, but it's like all the big guys we've talked to that have done like, I don't know, 500K days or so, they're on top doing like nonstop products. I don't even know how they find that many products, to be honest with you.
Well, I've always wondered like because doing that with on an offer, I mean, it's not overly difficult. Because first of all, you wouldn't necessarily do 10 in a day, but let's say you find, you're promoting a skin campaign, right? And there's probably, and you got a lander, right? Or a couple landers you're promoting. And then, you get 4 offers that are pretty interchangeable, more or less, right? Or you have some finance VSL offers and they're all kind of similar. And then you put a different angle on the ads, but there's not much to that. That's setting up the links and everything like that. I'm sure there's a way that you guys test where you're not. I know you're not investing in product most likely. There's like that you tested with the drop shipping or whatever. But
absolutely.
But still you. But you still got to set up the page and the pitch and everything for each.
It's time consuming for sure, and that's what my girlfriend does for us full time. She deals with the vendor and sets up product pages.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I'm slowly burning her out, but overall, she does a great job.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
She's really excited for like the new business opportunities we have with like these stores that might have like under 10 products. She's just like, oh, please get me on those.
Yeah, well, man, I was like, when they said that 10 a day or 20 a day, I'm like, my goodness. Like, I mean, you got with a team and whatever, you could do it. You do you're not doing it all yourself, but still, that's quite a bit. Imagine so.
Yeah.
We actually had one guy on our podcast a few weeks ago, and they were doing like a bad month for them was like $1 million, and they said they had this whole sourcing criteria that they use to decide what type of products to go after. And like on bigger months, you do 2 to 3 million. But he said literally 10 products a day. And he's like, those are 10 that actually made the cut.
Wow.
To even get to that point, he's like, we go through like hundreds.
Yeah, no, I think that's incredible because there's also a customer service aspect. There's a fulfillment aspect, right? There's all that sort of thing. Unless I'm wrong on that, but I got to imagine like, even just in the testing phase, you need to support that from a customer service side. Like, wouldn't you,
Yeah.
to a degree? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. I mean, it's impressive. That's a different operation.
I feel like I've learned the most in the last like 2 years of doing e-commerce in my like online marketing career than I have in all of it.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to go that route because I already went through one of the probably the most complex business I've dealt with in the trial business. So it's kind of like I'm trying to, simplify my life more
Yeah.
in my business life, because that type of business is a beast. Like it's a totally different type of thing. You deal with a lot of just random things happening that could happen. Even if they don't happen, there's always that, you have to prepare for that worst thing happening in terms of, let's say, merchant accounts or whatever else, which I guess maybe don't have that to the same degree in e-commerce, but you have the testing machine, like which the testing is a lot more involved in e-commerce than it would be as an affiliate.
Yeah.
That's obviously.
What we find complex is like, so let's say we launch one product. I could test that to like how many different markets, I could test that to how many different targeting. So that's where it gets difficult. You kind of have to know when to stop testing.
Yeah.
So
have you guys thought of like if I was to get an e-commerce, I would probably do it more this approach where I would, and again, tell me if I'm like a nut and I'm totally off base, but I would probably do it like where I would go to maybe trade shows and stuff, kind of like Tyler, what we were talking about, your buddy, I'm not going to mention it, but like I would go find, a trade show or something else where somebody's selling maybe, high five figures or low six figures of a product that's in a random, not even a random niche, but like a niche that you just don't have competition on Facebook in. But then I would take it on with better marketing in the Facebook and then with limited competition and test those types of things for sourcing products. I don't know. I could be wrong, but
you basically just described our play moving forward in life.
Oh, yeah. You feel free to edit that out.
The exact same. No, it's fine, man. I want other people to succeed too, but like we want someone who's got a proven product.
Yeah.
With proven support, with proven like everything. So we just got to come in and be like, hey, look, we got these mad marketing skills. We can blow your company up. Let's do a percentage on this.
Yeah, no, for sure. So that, let's talk about the deal if we can right now, like in terms of what kind of percentage would you take? Like, would you be proposing on that? Like I have my ideas, but again, I don't know the metrics. I guess you'd have to know the metrics of the guy's business.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What their costs are and all that. Right. But
it's actually funny, man. That's one thing that we've been kind of jumping back and forth with, because there's like so many aspects. Like, for example, does the weight of the current brand have any weight? Does it actually mean anything? Because some people, like there was one group we were talking to, and they were doing great, man. They would do trade shows across the country. It was so perfect because they would go to like state fairs and stuff and do like probably $1 million a year just at a couple booths at the state fair. So they travel around for like 6-9 months of the year, and people would be walking by and they'd show them the product and the person would walk up and buy it. So it's like, it's almost like Facebook in that respect, where someone's just kind of like cruising on Facebook and this ad pops up, right?
Exactly.
And they're like, oh, like our brand. I'm like, no one knows your brand, man. Like really, like it, your people hold such like value to their brands, where like, another group we're talking to, they've had tons of TV exposure. They've been on morning talk shows where like, I'm like, okay, there's actual value in that brand. People recognize that,
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And then the other piece is who's fronting the money for everything. Like if we're like, because we're running traffic, like one of the hurdles we found is just explaining to these guys to be like, hey, you might lose money on advertising up front, because they're like, what do you mean lose money?
Yeah.
Like that's like one group we were talking to, it's not their fault, they just weren't aware. They're like, we thought you just spend $5 and you get a buyer. I'm like, no,
not exactly
like that, man. I wish it did,
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, it's exactly like that.
yeah, right. So we've been really going back and forth, man. Like some people were like, we'll just pay you, we'll do everything like customer service and stuff, and we'll pay you, just a royalty of like 10-15%. to use it, or other people we've been like, hey, let's do, you know, a 50-50 deal. We've kind of just been all over the place trying to figure out based on the different factors, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I got to think that a lot of the guys, I mean, it does. There's no, I don't know that there's a set in stone. Maybe somebody that's done this easily, you know, or done this repeatedly, there's a set in stone for them. But, you know, I've never done something like this. You guys are getting into it, but I got to think like what kind of support team and infrastructure do they have behind them? Right.
Yeah.
If it's one guy, you know, they got a booth or something, you know, or some kiosks in a few malls, and they're doing $100,000, you know, a year, couple $100,000 a year. And, you know, people want it, people want the product and whatnot. Then I don't know if they can take on, you know, 100, 200, 300 plus sales a day or whatever. You know?
Exactly. We always ask, like, what's your room for growth? And it's funny because everyone's like, oh yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. It'll be like, yeah, we'll see when it happens, how fine you are.
It's everyone says that. It's kind of like, it's an inside joke. Cause, when you would go to, like when you go to a traffic source or whatever, and you do a direct media buy back in the day. So you go to a website like ESPN, and, they'll ask you what your budget is. And, you'll say the budget is unlimited if it converts.
Yeah.
Which is like, all right. I know reps love hearing that too. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's and that's the thing. You don't want to turn it off when it's working. There is an off button, but I really don't want to hit it. And I will do everything in my power to not hit it.
Yeah. I'm like that too. To the point where it's like near destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not funny, but I laugh. But
yeah, it's kind of funny.
Sometimes I feel like sales will solve all problems, and that's not true.
Yeah.
You should run a trial business one day.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, then test that assumption.
I don't think I want to, and I don't think I want to deal with the lawyer fees either. I don't know. I have no idea about your background in it, but from my understanding is it's like it's an interesting game.
Yeah, legal's fun in it. It's expensive. The bank's more than the legal.
Fair.
I'm suing a bank right now, in fact.
Wow, really?
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't mind saying, I'm not going to name names or any of that, but yeah, it's great just to get reserves that are owed to us. Like you just get awesome, cool stuff like that. Like, because sometimes, like if the trial business goes sideways, I mean, your profit might only be in the reserves.
Yeah,
you're gonna be getting 6 months later or whatever.
Yeah, and even I've heard people like it's going so far past 6 months, which it sounds like what happened to you.
Yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden you got to deal with that. You know, it's like, guys, come on. I mean, I'll say that, like, there was, in terms of reserves owed to us that we didn't get over the past 3 years, was probably 1.5 million.
Damn.
Yeah, that we didn't get.
A lot of e-com guys get screwed by PayPal, right? Because they scale up and they're just like, oh, PayPal's great. And then PayPal's like, oh, we think that something's up, so we're just going to hold this money forever for you.
Yeah.
I've heard PayPal's reserve is like pretty aggressive. Like they just, they don't adhere to a 6-month timeline or whatever else.
No.
Really?
They're like Facebook, right? They're like, we're the captain of the ship. We don't care what you say.
Yeah, I've heard that. It's not the first time I've heard it. That sucks. Yeah. It's brutal, man. Like these guys are like, oh, the risk of the portfolio, it's a little high. Like, all right, but so were your fees and everything else and the interest you made off the reserves for the past couple of years. So there hasn't been a chargeback in 6 months. So I think we're good now, aren't we?
No.
It might, well, okay. So,
yeah.
Hilarious.
Crazy.
Moving on, because I feel like we're going to be chatting forever. We're probably at like an hour 20 right now, give or take.
Oh, wow.
Do you have, so someone who's just getting into the online marketing world, they want to learn, do you have any suggestions on where to start or what they should do? I know it's a very broad question, but we do have a lot of beginners that are just like debating if they should get into this or not. So what's your take on that?
Chad says internet marketing's dead.
Trial. Nah, man, it's all dead in general. No. the first thing I would do is not what I do typically, and that is like again back to overcomplication.
Do
right?
as
Like,
I say, not as I do.
yeah, that's exactly no. Just try to focus on one thing. So like I kind of usually would say like, I gave this advice in the past and I'll give it now, is like focus in the beginning at least on one traffic source and one vertical, right? Whether you're an affiliate or in e-commerce or whatever else, focus on one thing and the thing with the least moving parts as well.
Smart.
So I mean, if there's an offer that you can direct link to that's profitable, great. But more often than not, putting a lander there will help as an affiliate, right?
Yeah.
But outside of that, let's say you're focusing on native and Outbrain is the traffic source you want to run, and you've done some spying. So again, this goes back to, as a beginner, if you have the budget to get something like AdBeat, great. It helps a lot. If not, then just doing manual spying. It's more time consuming, meaning like you're going to large websites like, let's say, ESPN and Breitbart and CNN and looking
Fox
at
News,
the Fox News, and you're looking at the types of things, you're just refreshing and incognito and looking at the types of things you notice and tracking them daily. AdBeat just kind of does that all automatically. But just looking at what kind of vertical you want to get into. I like to say get into something scalable, something big. But at the same time, we also talked about niche stuff, you know. But either way, try to get into a traffic source that's the one you're going to focus on. It's a scalable source. So a lot of the native sources the compliance requirements are lower if that's something that matters to you. Now, if that doesn't matter to you and you're going to be running stuff that is, clean and everything, then give Facebook a try. I would say. People say Facebook is hard as a beginner. I don't. It's just because like the traffic quality is so good, right?
Yeah.
And the tools are so good, and it's going to get better in my opinion.
Yeah,
I just think it will. Now, it's hard because it can be a complex platform, but I find Google AdWords more complex.
I can see it.
To get working at scale than Facebook. Native is simpler, but native, I don't want to say there's a lot of downsides of native, but I always think like if you can master Facebook, it's very valuable. But either way, pick one traffic source and just focus on it. Because as a beginner, I'm trying to go back to like before my jaded time and, my brain being all melted. Going back to being a beginner, what happens is like you try a source and then the mindset a lot of beginners have is, oh, that source doesn't work or the traffic quality is shit, right? When it's not really the traffic quality probably that's bad, right? Totally. So let's say you go native, you go Outbrain. Try to talk to, if you're going to conferences and stuff like that and you're meeting reps of the native networks, try to talk to them and get a relationship with one. Now, if you don't have a relationship with one, AdBeat's going to be your next best bet of a relationship with a traffic source rep. See what kind of offers are running scalable at that network, and then start with an offer. Like I said, in a vertical you're interested, or maybe not. If you're just interested in money, whatever. But if you're interested in the vertical, great. And start with an offer ideally that's running at high scale, that high volume for a decent amount of time, right? 90 days.
So go find something that's already currently running.
Yeah, find something that's already converting, right? A funnel that's already converting. Now, I'm not saying copy it, but just try to reduce the number of variables against you as a beginner.
Yeah.
Right? So a traffic source is converting. It's converting on a specific type of vertical, and even more so, it's converting specifically on a particular type of offer. The video sales letter offers, they kind of go in waves, but I like the video sales letter offers for beginners because number one, a lot of them run on native. If you guys look in AdBeat, there's tons of them there. But they do the pre-selling for you. So you don't often need a big landing page, if at all. Now, compliance wise, let's say on Outbrain, you'll usually need a landing page, like a mini article, like 400 to 600, or I mean, it's like 400 words, 200 words type of thing, 600 at the most. That's not a big landing page. It's just a quick pre-sale to get them over. But basically, you're trying to remove all the variables that can work against you.
You can even go to ClickBank because they supply a lot of ads. They supply everything with the video sales letters.
Exactly. I mean, exactly. And I like to use the ads, or at least study the variations of ads that are in AdBeat, because often they look more editorial. They look more, you know what I mean by editorial? They look kind of like they're on a news site, which is what works on native, right?
Yeah.
And but that's kind of how I'd approach it. Stay focused on one thing. Don't be like, oh, this traffic source crap. Now, if you're using some random pop network that, like, who knows, and you just some dude at Affiliate Summit told you about, and not a dude who's good, like just the actual traffic source rep, you don't know if it's like how good it is. But I mean, the big ones, Outbrain, Taboola, Rev Content's a bit harder. But Outbrain, Taboola, Rev Content's got good traffic. It's just got a lot of it, so you got to weed it through.
I've definitely lost some money on Rev Content.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I tried native once; it didn't work for me.
Yeah, well, it's tricky, right? Like, I mean, we use it. Actually, Rev Content's not a big one of ours. It's more Taboola and
Nice.
And Gemini, actually.
Oh, gotcha.
And Outbrain though, like if you go on a AdBeat, there's a lot of direct response offers in there. From when I was looking at it, the spend is bigger, the volume's bigger on Outbrain than it is in the other ones for direct.
Really?
Yeah, that surprised me. I was looking at it and I was, wow.
I wouldn't have thought that at all.
No, yeah. Locker Dome's a good one, but it usually pays to have a good rep there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say like how valuable is a good rep?
At the traffic source, it's good. Because at those big sources, because if they're familiar with direct response and affiliate stuff, they can kind of tell you like, yeah, we've been doing really well with these types of offers.
Yeah.
Right. They're usually not going to tell you in an email or Skype which offer exactly and the ads, but they'll tell you like, this type of offer. If you bring up an offer to them, a lot of times if you got a good rep, they'll say, yeah, we're running that particular offer. Well, somebody's running, an advertiser's running it. So,
yeah.
But again, just back to the beginner thing, one traffic source in the beginning, ideally, and like a good one of these top tier traffic sources. Facebook again is great. There's just a lot of pieces to it. And then, one vertical, like learn the vertical. And then because you start spreading yourself out, you know how it is. You're focused. Yeah, I mean, I had a trial business, LifeBuzz, and my affiliate business all at the same time for 3 years.
With a team of what? 3 people, 4 people?
No. I mean, LifeBuzz has about 10 people. So
yeah.
LifeBuzz is its own business. My trial company had like different module kind of companies attached to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know in terms of management, project managers, it's like me,
Yeah.
The
one and only.
Yeah, my partner. And that's not advisable even if you're experienced.
Yeah.
I don't think, unless you have CEOs at each business, each company, I don't advise that. Right. So, before you pay expensive lessons like that, just kind of keep it focused.
It's funny, man. The biggest, I've even said this before. If I've only would have stuck to email my entire life, like there's emailers out there that do like $120,000, $200,000 a day.
Yep. Yeah.
And, our biggest day I've ever been part of is like 24 grand on email, which is a great day, but it's not 100 or it's not 200. But like people who specialize, or another buddy of mine, every time I talk to him, he's like, yeah, man, I'm deep in car insurance right now. And I'll talk to him 3 months later. He's like, oh, I'm starting to hit 50, 60 grand days. Or he'll be like, I'm big into VSLs now. And he's like, I'm starting to get some consistent 100 grand days now. And it's just like amazing when you focus and really learn that market and what placements work, what placements don't, you can really do phenomenal.
I started winding down the trial business in July, and it's weird because it's like I have this generalized anxiety that I need to have different things going on.
Yeah.
But I think it's just from 3 years of conditioning of doing that at a high level. Yeah. I mean, like, I had like the businesses did, let's say in 2016 combined like 47 million or so.
Yeah.
Right. And that's yeah, but you know, top line is always impressive, right? The net's lower than that. The net was still not bad, but you know, with that much business going through and that much traffic, and like one little mistake can cause you really big problems, you know, that why would you do it like that? You know,
Yeah.
I could have another podcast and tell you how it happens.
Yeah.
Part two.
No, let's do it.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, so stay focused on it. Yeah. Just like your buddy was saying, I mean, like, I even doing it now. What am I doing running education offers? I've never done that before.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Thanks, Tyler. But
you know what? I feel like it's good to like light test a lot of things once you kind of have your ground set.
Yeah.
I don't know, for us, like we focus so much on e-com in the last 2 years that we're like, okay, now 2018, let's dabble in like a bunch of stuff. And it's working out great so far. So it's good to have the backbone of something steady, but then also just to like reach out and try other things here and there.
Yeah. Diversity is good. But you guys are veterans, right? You guys are veterans. So somebody, you know, going back to the original question,
yeah,
it's just like somebody, the beginner, like they'll never go deep enough in something. They'll just be shallow. It'll just be surface work all the time.
Yeah.
Always surface stuff. So anyway, after 15-minute answer, there you go.
But a solid one.
It was good. It was great.
No, that's good advice, man. I think it makes sense to focus. Sometimes, like we have a private Facebook group, and people. I'm really proud of that group, by the way. Like, people helping out each other. That's fucking awesome. I find sometimes people are like, "Oh man, like, you know, my site's not converting," and it's like day 4.
Yeah, no. I mean, but you know how it is, like, especially beginners, but even as a veteran, you don't want to see a buy like have no data. Totally. You know what I mean? Like, just like, it's zeros across the board. And it doesn't happen obviously often when you're a veteran, because you just kind of know what kind of placements and ads and copy work. But in the beginning, man, geez, that's deflating. It's like, shit, like I set this up, and like, I don't know Shopify much, but I could set up a store in about an afternoon. I don't know if that's...
Oh, yeah. Accurate. 100% accurate.
I mean, it's Shopify. So I can set it up. I've done it before a couple of times for some other things. And so sure, you could set it up. But for somebody starting out, that's a milestone in itself. And then now it's like, I got my products getting up there. And then now it's like, I'm running ads and there's 4 days and there's no sales. You know, what the hell? And now, you know, especially if they're having a split test 5 different products. Yeah, I get it, man. I guess it's deflating. So
yeah.
Perseverance is all. Yeah, perseverance and staying focused. I mean, that's it. Just trying variations. If you're promoting something to real people, eventually you'll crack it. And you got to spy, man. That helped a lot. Just seeing how people were
R&D.
Yeah, man. I mean, for you guys, it's probably way different than what I think. But I was like, why the hell would somebody say one weird trick does this? Like, what does that even mean, right?
Yeah.
But man, like, I was like, holy crap, that worked.
I wonder how many millions have been made off that tagline.
Hundreds of millions, I bet.
Oh, we had one. I think we were the first to use weird trick kills. The word kills. That one. Yeah, and I know the revenue that generated alone just from us. So, so I don't know, man. But I don't read like that. I don't write like that normally. So you just find that thing when you start just doing variations off of other stuff that works. Like, has science gone too far? I don't know. Like, what? All right.
I know it's yours because you sent it to me, but that R8 ad, man, that copy was awesome.
Oh, did you?
I showed Gabe. I'm like, dude, you got to read this. Look what Chad put together.
But back to Facebook's beautiful targeting, man. I was able to, I had some good interest off that ad. Like, I
believe it. It was solid copy.
Targeting people with certain income and liquid asset value in certain market to buy a car.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
You advertised your R8?
Yeah. On Facebook. I was like, whatever. I don't care.
Oh, man, that's so funny. Did you get a sale from that?
No. The sale actually came, I don't even know where the sale, like the potential sale came from anyway. But
can I post your R8 ad in like the description of this podcast just so people can see it? I'm sure you're going to take it down eventually, but for now,
if you want to, yeah.
I could.
Yeah, it's like,
if you don't want us to, it's fine. But I thought it was pretty well written.
No, I don't care. It's all good.
Cool.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, you know, Facebook's awesome.
That's the best time to ask someone a request is when they're on a podcast publicly.
Totally. Like if you say no, you sound like an asshole. So I'm just gonna ask you. I'm just kidding.
No, but I know what to say no to and stuff. So you know, certain things that if you ask me, I'd be like, I can't talk about that.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. We don't care about that stuff. We just care about the fun stuff.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice.
Yeah,
that is nice of you. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, I think we should wrap this up because it's been a long one, but it's been a good one nonetheless.
Probably the longest one.
Yeah, it's between this and Blair.
Blair's expected, man. He's chatty Cathy.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it. He's our business coach, so he likes to.
Oh, okay, cool.
He's a talkative one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope I didn't bore anybody.
No, you didn't.
I thought this was awesome. You know, we've never talked about AdBeat before. I love the tips you gave for new people just starting out. I think that makes total sense. It actually really replicates our story of our e-commerce. Mm-hmm. Basically, you know, someone else.
Yeah.
The flashlight offer, we were running that, and they ran out of caps, so we made our own. You know, it's the same story though. You know, so like that whole thing is cliche. Success leaves clues, but it's very true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if my wife hears this and hears about that I said focus on one thing and stuff like that, she's gonna kick me in the nuts. Yeah.
So, I'm really stoked on the 4-door R8 part also, so I'm excited. Like,
oh yeah,
I think I'm going to incorporate that into the title just to get that clickbait. You know?
Oh yeah,
4-seater R8. Yeah.
People love clickbait for sure.
Oh, I know, and I haven't leveraged it enough. But being around the world of YouTube with my buddies who vlog and stuff, I'm like, all right, I need to step it up here.
Yeah, people absolutely love clickbait. They never complain about it. It's pretty cool.
Clickbait. We're gonna get hate messages, everything. I'm unfollowing.
We'll do a podcast one day of the emails we get to LifeBuzz one day.
Oh, I love it.
Love that.
Oh, it's funny.
So funny. We have to read them like with video, so it's like, and we don't get to know what they say beforehand, and then we just need to like the reaction video of emails.
Jeez,
do you email that data?
It's not that many emails. Jeez, man. Like we're not that.
If you get 10 million hits, you got to get some people signing up.
No. But well, we got an actual email list of about 60,000 for LifeBuzz. That's it. It's not that big, but those people are good. They're cool because they want to read everything. But it's often the people that are going through the slideshow type stuff. That's what they don't like it all the time.
Yeah.
Man, but some of them get really mad about it. Like they're not pulling out a credit card or anything. Some people really don't like it. I tell them to take it up with Facebook support because we changed our model due to Facebook's algorithm changes. So.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they don't like that. So
no, I'm sure Facebook doesn't like that either.
That's okay. Zuck and I go way back. We had a lot of history, but he's never met me. So
yeah, right.
Yeah, he's known me under
million to his bank account.
Yeah, he's known me under several names. Yeah, so that is what it is.
All right, let's.
We've gone too far.
Yeah,
never far enough. Anyway, man, thank you so much for coming on. This was awesome. I'm stoked about it. It's a good one. So, yeah, perfect.
Awesome, thank you.
Awesome.
Talk soon.
All right, with that, we'll wrap it up. Again, if you guys like Chad, let us know. He's awesome. But the type of content you want to hear, hit us up. Do that whole rating thing on, what is it, iTunes, Gabe?
Yeah, the Tunes of I. Yes.
Give us a good one. And if it's a bad one, give it to someone else. And then just keep interacting. Join the Facebook group. That thing's been badass. People are interacting like crazy. Gabe has been very interactive, so you can thank him for that because I've been a little bit slow. I've been busy as fuck lately. But yeah, thanks for being involved. Thank you, Chad, for the time, and we'll wrap it up. Till next time.
No problem. Take care.